up, my people? What's up, my people? We straighten this out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Gotta look good. Huh? My gear look better than yours. Uh-huh. Look at that. I feel good, I look good. You mean? Listen, first, like I always say, I want to give all praises to God, because without him, we don't have nothing, right? Without him, we have nothing. Welcome to another episode of My Voice, Our Agenda. So I'm back again. There's a lot going on out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna expand my conversation to a national conversation, to a global conversation, because we have a lot going on. And I know a lot of people don't pay attention to the local news, the national news, or the global news. But sometimes, you have to pay attention to what's going on around you. Very important. Uh, that Donald Trump guy, man. He got a lot uh, of issues surrounding, you know, the United States right now, domestically and globally. As you know, if you haven't known, there's a war going on between Israel and Iran, um, which can escalate to a wider regional war. Um, if you do know your history, you know, United States got its hands written all over that. And it's very important that we pay attention to that very closely, because it may hit home. Um, and the reason why I want to talk about that, you know, it's kind of odd that we are on alert, because Russia is now warning the U.S. to stay out of it, which they are allies of United States. I mean, allies of Iran, and we all know that Israel and United States are allies. So it's a very tricky uh, situation going on in the Middle East, and it's been brewing for a long time. As you know, Israel has annihilated uh, Palestine, Gaza, and United States of America has played a major role in that. With that being said, there's a military parade that's supposed to take place today with Donald Trump. It's his 79th birthday, I believe, but it's also the Army's 250-year anniversary. Uh, and having a military parade. But we all know this is all to show uh, power and force to the rest of the world by having a military parade. Because usually these type of parades are done by dictators like North Korea, Russia, and China. They usually have military parades for dictators. But this is what Trump wants, right? He wants to be the king. He wants to be seen as a dictator. Domestically, we have to pay attention to that, because a lot of things, his administration is doing. What he did in LA down there to protest by sending in the military, National Guard, and the Marines uh, was definitely unconstitutional. But everything he has done has been, unconstitutional. But why is that so important to the average American? Um, well, let's say this is just the beginning. And that man has an agenda that's not in the best interest of you. Uh, when I say you, all Americans, even though you have some uh, Americans that support him, that voted him in there. Some stand by him. A lot of them have a lot of regret. They will not say it, but they have regret. Even though some have come forward and say we regret voting for this man. Why do we have to address some of the things he has done domestically, right? Immigration. I have my own, there's not even enough time to address the immigration thing. Uh, but I think it's important to pay attention to how he handles that, right? This man is really out of control. And it's one thing to put in place a policy to curb those that's coming into this country illegally, that's committing crimes and didn't go through the process in a fair way like others did. Um, but the mainstream media, the West media, are not being forthcoming. They're not telling you the truth. They're giving you the negative to have you brainwashed to thinking that all immigrants are criminals and they're here to do harm and they have no good intention on being here. I work in a place at Amazon and it's very diverse. And I'll tell you, between some of the Mexicans and Jamaicans and the Haitian, uh, Dominican, I mean, and many more, you know, the Bosnians, a lot of them that's there. It's a very diverse company, and you get to listen to different sides of different cultures and why they're there, what their intentions are. And I'm only speaking from a small group because I don't know how they all think. I'm just telling you from my own experience. Uh, they're hard workers, man. They come in here to make a living. They come in here to try to get to have a better life. They're buying home, property, cars. They get an education, and they just want to come here and live the good American life, whatever that means. To me, being born and raised here, you have your pros and cons, right? But as far as for those that's coming from third world countries and war torn countries, and they're trying to escape, or they just trying to uh, just have a better life, and I think that we need to be considerate of that. Now, I'm not talking about those that coming in here committing crimes and all that, or not trying to make an effort to follow that process of being a citizen. They just want to hide and not be found or whatever. I can't protect those. I can't speak for those. I can only speak for those that's here with good intentions. So the immigration part on Trump, he's definitely going about it the wrong way, which I do agree with. Like I said, if you're not following the rules of law, if you didn't come in here with good intentions, and you're not, going through that process of citizenship or, getting a visa the correct way, then you shouldn't be here. But outside of that, leave these people alone. You're handcuffed and 4-year old. Like you're going to Home Depot and while they're in court, you, you're harassing them. You're embarrassing them. You're putting them in detention centers when they only come in here trying to do right. So you know, I feel bad for those. now you have immigration and you have a war going on in Iran and Israel. Then you have politicians are being blown away in their own home. Rest in peace to those uh, politicians out in Minnesota that got killed. Uh, the wife and husband, and the other one that was shot and killed 5 miles away, allegedly by the same suspect, who was wearing a police uniform and driving a police car, impersonating as a police officer, and somehow gained trust of those uh, individuals and got into their homes and unfortunately murdered them. And you have the other two 5 miles away were also politicians. One of them were, and his wife is fighting for their lives now in the hospital. It's just so much going on, and it to me, it's some kind of connection going on with Trump and his followers. And I'm not making no accusations. I'm just saying the timing of everything is 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 just not right. And America, we're living in a dark place right now. Uh, we need to pay attention to everything that's going on. So I just wanted to touch on that, and hopefully, you guys pay attention to what's going on around you, locally, nationally. Pay attention to what's going on around you because it can affect you one way or the other. So I just want to touch on that. Again, thank you for everybody that subscribed and uh, shared my podcast. I appreciate it. I'm always, always grateful for those that support me and believed in me. So again, thank you for tuning in. And you guys will hear from me again. You know, as I always say, live, laugh, love, and love yourself. Always. Because you are who you are because of you. Thank you for signing in, tuning in. I appreciate it. One love.